Greetings, beautiful ones. I am Sharifa, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. That is my only rule. I am so excited today because I took a break. I wasn't doing any podcasts, and now I am back. We are back. We're getting into it once again. And I want to say that my guest is coming up. He was a part of the reason why I even started my podcast. He gave me the initial tools, and I started on one platform, just uh, just a verbal platform. You can only hear my voice. He gave me the initial tools to start this podcasting journey, and then eventually I graduated and get and received more help. More information about these platforms. So um, this is an amazing man, and I love him, and I've been knowing him since grade school. But they say knee high to a fly or something like that. Those sayings. I'm gonna bring him on out. My brother from another mother, from another universe, all of that. Christopher Huffman,
Winning.
winning as usual. And I had a machine, Chris, that made the sounds and everything, but it's back in Atlanta. I'm in Kenya, so I still got to just.
Yeah.
But you need a big. You need a band, okay? You need a
Hey.
band when you come on. I'm
Appreciate
so glad to have you. I've missed you and
reflect.
your wife. Please tell her I miss her too.
I
The
will.
queen, the queen, Mrs. Huffman. Okay,
Hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this brother is very near and dear to my heart. And it's been a while. I'm excited because, like I said, he started me out on this journey, and I said that every time that I start a new season of Snails and No Shells, that Christopher would always be my first guest. He's my first supporter. He's always my first guest every time. So yes, this I'm excited. How you doing, Chris? It's so good to see you.
I'm winning. It's good to be here. I mean, this is like a ritual for me. I love starting my year off with you. Like you said, we've been knowing each other since we were babies, and one thing that's being consistent was your smile and your light. So I'm just as flattered and just as happy to be here with you as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about numerology. Okay, this is the year 2025. This is a 9 year. Okay, now, according to the Gregorian calendar, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the year 2025. People want to debate the new year. Okay, we know the spring is in April. Okay, we understand that, but we live according to the Gregorian calendar. We are in the new year, and this is the new lunar year too, which took place on January 29th in Chinese astrology. So happy New Year, happy Lunar New Year, happy 2025, all of that. Okay, all of it. And Chris, now, um, tell us a little bit about yourself because this man right here, he's a numerologist, but go ahead, run it on down for us.
You know, about 12 years ago, I started on my numerology journey. My wife, she's a numerologist, astrologist, palmistry. She does it all the divinations. So much so that she compelled me to write a book called Divination. And it has all these different divinations around the world from all different pantheons and things like that. But I got into numerology because I was always good with numbers. I was a mathlete in school, so I was always going to math competitions. So I always had this affinity with numbers. And then when my wife was going a hard body with numerology, I said, you know what, I want to learn too. So we both got certified together and we just fell in love with the numbers and we started to see the world a different way. Numerology is like a cheat code to reality. So when you
Mm,
know what's coming, you know how to prepare. And years in advance, you can look at the astrology side and see, okay, back in 2023, I was preparing for 2025 because I knew that whatever I start in 2024, I would be completing this year. So instead of me
mm,
starting something new and being frustrated, having all that impetus and fervor to complete it, I had a whole year to prepare. So now I'm kind of coasting and really like saturating myself with the information I'm learning in my new insurance business. So, come from humble beginnings, come from the hood. My father wasn't in my life. I never really had anyone to really pour into me other than my mom and my great aunt. She raised me, but a lot of challenges. All those challenges helped me evolve. I could outsuffer most people, but I fell in love with my wife back when we were like 16. We didn't really start dating until we were 18, but 31 years later, we still here. We raised a 28-year-old daughter.
Ooh,
I've written,
congratulations.
I've written 9 books, a motivational speaker, a numerologist, martial artist. The list goes on and on. But mainly now that I'm focused on being my own guru. I'm focused on really just taking a step back and just having a higher perspective of things, or just taking things and just always, no matter if it's positive or negative, I'm taking it in. I'm always spewing out light. So this year, my mantra is raising my identity. Going beyond the boundaries of what I thought was possible for myself, really claiming my financial divinity. So that's why I was working at GE Aviation for about 6 years. I quit that job, even though I was making great money. I quit that job to do what I'm doing now, and I started my own insurance company, and I monetized helping families create their financial legacy. So that's what I'm doing now mainly. I'm a numerologist to heart, so I can always talk about numerology, but mainly with my focus now going forward, I put all my energy. I have laser focused on really
Mhm.
growing my business and helping families out.
Yes, I love that. And I see it. Like I said, you be popping off on Facebook. I see Christopher Huffman coming down the timeline, this video trying to really, really help save us. Because a
Mm,
lot of us, we don't know. We just don't have the information.
mhm.
And I know some of us, I know it's kind of hard to kind of get through that our belief systems, right? Or thing we believe in something that we don't even know. How you don't have the information,
Yeah,
but then you want to go against it.
right.
So I know that's it's a lot dealing with us when it comes to insurances, and people don't want to talk about death, like it's never going to happen, but it's coming. It is coming. So I know I respect that, and this is you're the perfect man for it, to bring that awareness to
Mhm.
us, and I'm getting through to us. So.
Yeah, one thing I'm always facing is cognitive dissonance. Whenever you introduce something and is so far beyond their level of understanding, they fight for their level of understanding. So
Mhm.
my role is to not talk about death so much, but to talk about the financial benefits of having an IUL or even an insurance policy. And it's a great way to transfer a generational wealth. It's a great way to make sure your grandchildren will never have to work again if you do it right. So one
Mhm.
thing for me is the mission over the commission. There's a lot of movements going around, but you don't have any movement if you don't have a financial movement first. So I'm focused the next 10 years on securing a bag for myself and everyone that chooses to listen to me. So
Mhm.
the more people we have with life insurance problem policies, the less crime will be in the communities. Because if
Mhm.
everyone would had a $1 million policy, in about 2 generations there would be no more hood.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
it's much cheaper than people think. And it's more beneficial financially than people think and know. Life
Mhm.
insurance policies are the only vehicle in America that the capital gains are tax free. So,
Mhm.
we're brainwashed to get in 401ks and things like that because
Right.
you think it's a great retirement plan. And it's better than nothing. But
Mhm.
if you're not putting your money in a vehicle that's going to outpace inflation, you're going to run out of money eventually. So
Mhm.
our goal to tell the people is, instead of putting your money in a 401k or TSP or an IRA that's taxed, why not put your money that's tied to the stock market that's growing exponentially in compounded interest? And all that money that you make over the years is tax free. It's a no
Mhm.
brainer. It's a no brainer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. And I do know that people think life insurance, they think, oh, just money to bury someone. And that money, it's called life insurance, not death insurance, right? That
That's
money is for the living, right? This is to make sure that your family can continue to live a nice life, so that they can continue to still be okay, make sure the bills are paid, make sure that they can eat, right? Make sure
right.
that certain expenses are covered.
Mm,
Life is for the living, right?
right.
So Yeah, so I learned a little bit about a little something.
There's three things to life insurance policy. There's a death benefit, there's a living benefit, and a cash value. The living
Mm,
benefit, you all know about the death benefit. If you die, your family gets all this money. The living
mhm,
benefit is if you come down with stroke, heart attack, or cancer, or paralysis, or any critical injury, you get up to 90% of your death benefits while you're living. So we all know when you go to the hospital and you're sick or you're hurt or you have cancer, the bills don't care. They're not stopping. They're still coming. So the new life insurance policies that I provide will give you up to 90% of your death benefits while you're living. So if you have a
mm,
$500,000 policy, how would it feel to know that you have cancer and you're getting a tax-free check for $410,000? Tax-free to do what
oh,
you please while you're
mm,
living, and you're only paying $200 a month. You know, if you get a policy in January and you get sick in February, they'll send you that $410,000, and you've only paid one monthly premium. You know, and then you have the cash value. This a lot of people don't know about the stock market and things like that. And although insurance policies aren't investments, they're
mhm,
tied to S&P 500. And these insurance companies do put your money into these vehicles. It's going to help you make more money over time. So I tell
mhm,
everybody, you got a baby, 14 days old, as long as they have a social security number and a birth certificate, go ahead and get them an IUL. So by the time they're 20 years old, they'll have $50,000, $60,000 that they can take out and start their life, buy a home or whatever. By the time they're 60, they have a couple $1 million in there. So
mhm,
we're playing the game backwards. And one thing that I teach is the four homes of money, three tax buckets, and how to correctly build your financial home. And just this level of understanding that I have now about finances and the money game, it's a game. And once you
mhm.
learn it, I'm a snitch. I want to tell everybody about the game. It doesn't cost
Yeah.
you. It doesn't cost you any. I don't make any money off of people. So I get paid directly from the insurance companies by being the
Mhm,
liaison between the people and the insurance companies. So,
mhm,
but that's just
mhm.
what I do for my business. But I know you wanted to talk about numerology, so I'm here for that as well.
Yeah, and you always you're just an abundant. You're an abundant person, and you've always shared your abundance. When you're overflowing with abundance, you have so much to share. Whether
Hmm.
it just be information, but mostly information, knowledge. And you've always kind of kept us, those who listen, abreast about how you can, get into that abundant space, that winning, right? That winning space.
My secret to winning back in the day was reading about maybe 3 to 5 books a year. Now I'm reading 2 books a month, and now I'm just
Mhm,
really just overflowing with information. And I'm
mhm.
trying my best not to just regurgitate all this information on people. I have to focus on being more tactful with my approach with the information that I've amassed over the years.
Mhm.
So
So
it's an all.
you
Say it again
reading
now.
two you reading 2 books a month. You writing 2 books a month. I mean, how do you do that? Because if I'm in the process of writing or writing some poetry or anything, I cannot read anybody else's poetry. Right? I can't read because I don't want to be influenced by their words. So how do you separate that?
One thing, if I'm writing a book, whatever genre of the book I'm writing, I don't read that same genre.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm reading like motivational books like that, I'll then start writing books about poetry because that comes through me. I like to
Mm-hmm.
filter all the suffering, all the bad things that's happened to me in my life, and I like to get it out through the vehicle of poetry. But if I'm going to write a self-help book, I'm going to focus on reading other people's poetry. So I never really read the genre that I'm writing. And
Okay.
I know my circadian rhythm between 10 and 3 p.m. That's when I get all my information. So I always have my pad out. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever comes to me, I'm not filtering it. I'm just writing it down, and I categorize it later.
Okay,
So
Paul.
mhm.
For those that do not know, circadian rhythm. Come on, break that down. I'm not gonna let you go right on past. Explain what that is. Explain what that is.
So we all have a rhythm to ourselves, and different times of the day, you're more receptive to the downloads you receive. A lot of people think it's you thinking for yourself, and that's not true. Your vibration, your light, your joy, it becomes a beacon for information. So if you're always raising your identity, raising your light, being a good person, and just taking in whatever you feel as if you need to take in, you're going to start getting all these downloads. And when you get these downloads, you just write them down. So I know for me, the more I get most of my downloads between 10 in the morning and 3 p.m. Some people may
Mhm.
get 7 to 10 at night. People may wake up at 2 in the morning and just have to write down. But
Mhm.
you won't know what it is until you just start writing throughout the day. So the first 3 months, you should really start writing and just think about how eloquent the information you're getting comes through. If you feel as if you're struggling or you're having a writer's block, that's not time for you to write. I've never had
Mhm.
a problem writing because I know when to get my downloads. 10 to 3, whatever comes, I just write down and I date it and I give it a title. So when it's time for me to come back and put it into one of my books, okay, this needs to go in this book. This because I don't get
Mhm.
everything linear. I get it all jumbled. I'm writing
Mhm.
6 books right now because they're all different topics coming in. And I just
Right.
save it, archive it, and I categorize it for later. So
Mhm.
I always have a well of information to give to the people. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I love that, and that happens to me too. Like if I'm writing or something, a poem or whatever, I always or even a song, I'll get the hook first and then write it out, and I have
Hmm.
nothing else, you know. And then later on, I start getting more, lines to the song to add. Or sometimes I might, get a couple lines of the song. I have nothing else, no hook, no anything. So I don't get it. I never ever receive any downloads in order.
Hmm.
Never. It's always A, then Z, right, and
Hmm.
then
Right.
E, then S, then T. So there's no order.
Mm-mm.
There's no order.
One thing that I do is when I get the downloads, the
Hmm.
downloads isn't coming from me. I get
Yeah.
the downloads and I just write it down. And then when I go back and read it, I then put my own ego in it. I then put my
Mm-hmm.
own information on it, and I kind of merge the two. I get this information, and then I put Christopher Huffman's understanding within the information, and then I give it
Hmm.
to the public. You know,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
realize that no matter what I do, 50% of people are going to love it, and 50% of people are going to hate it. I just
Hmm.
focus on people loving it, and I focus
Hmm.
on living, and I'm aware of that. I'm not worried about the money. Again, it's always the mission over the commission for me. So I know that this is a matrix that we're living in. And I've been bequeathed all this information from this divine source to create new algorithms in our earthly domain that's going to help the earth. It's going to help to raise the vibration of this planet. And it might not be now. It may be when I'm long gone, and maybe when my great great grandchildren are here. But it's
Hmm.
a duty to get it out because I was chosen to do it. And we all get different ideas every day. There's a deity of ideas that gives everyone an idea that'll change their financial state every day. But it's up to you to write it down and act on it.
Mm. Okay. When this deity, what is the name of this deity?
I call them the deity of ideas.
The deity of ideas, ladies and gentlemen. You might want to tap in. You might want to tap in.
And you're not the
Yes.
only person they give the idea to. The deity
Right.
of ideas gives to multiple people across the world. So if you don't
Mm-hmm.
act on it, you'll see 5 years later, oh, that was a great invention. I had that same thought. But then
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
creative ideas needs to get that algorithm in our earthly domain, so he makes sure he sprinkles it in the consciousness of a whole bunch of different sentient beings.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Mm-hmm.
self. You give me something, deity of ideas, I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna write it down. I'm
Right.
gonna I'm gonna anchor that thought down and be like, I got it, deity ideas. That's mine. I appreciate you. Give thanks. You know.
That's right. That's right. 'Cause that's me. I'm like, I'm exhausting. I'm everything in me. Like I said, those downloads we get, we writing them down, those ideas. I'm acting on them. I'm just when I leave this, this we say earthly domain. When I leave here, I'm
Mhm.
gonna be able to say I did everything. I tried everything
There you go.
um that was given to me. Everything. So
One thing I
yeah.
like to tell the people is to make sure your will to succeed is stronger than your will to fail. As long as you keep that in mind, you're going to win every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful quote. I'm going to need that. I'm gonna need that so I can put it in the information. That's a beautiful quote. Beautiful. Okay, so amazing. We're going to take a small break and then we'll come back and then we'll talk about the numerology.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in two and two. right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And if you missed the beginning of the show, I have my amazing brother, Christopher Huffman, as my special guest for this first episode of this season of Snails with No Shells. I've been knowing him since we were since elementary students. Oh my gosh. And I love him, and I love his wife, and I'm excited to have him here. And like I was saying, he's always on every first show, every season. And I love it because he's always, no matter what he's doing, and this man is busy, he stay busy. He always makes himself available for me. For me. I can't speak for nobody else. But I'm thankful. Always full of gratitude. Always. All right. Okay, so we're going to get into it. So this half we're going to talk about numerology. This being a 9-year, 2025, we add 5 plus 2 plus 2 gives us a 9 year. So Christopher, what does that mean? A 9 year.
So the 9 years about completion. 9 is the number of completion. 9 is like the humanitarian. 9 is very versatile. It's a competitive number. It's very inspirational and passionate number. It's aggressive because it's ran by Mars, so it's a lot of fiery energy. So whenever you're dealing with the 9, you're dealing with like, let's go right now. Time is now. We got to finish it now. So that's the energy of the 9. So when it comes to whatever life path you are, your life path is you take your birthday and your year and the month you were born and the day, you add all those numbers up and you compile them down and you keep reducing the numbers down until you get one finite number. So let's say you're life path 1. So life path 1 is all about leadership, action, you know, independent creativity and things like that. So when it comes to the 9 year, you're already a leader. Everyone looks to you to be a leader. But now it's time for you to complete things. And ones are like they love being in control. So with that 9 energy of that fiery energy of Mars, you have a lot of pressure to complete things. So it's going to be a challenging year for a 1. Not in a bad way, because if you're a doer and you're an action type person already, you're going to flow through the 9 year. But if you're one of those not passive 9s, but you know how some people are, they put things off. They're procrastinators. The energy of that 9 is going to be like, listen, the time is now. You're going to have to cut these people off and handle business. So it's going to be a little challenging for the 1, because 1 is already a fire element anyway, and you pair that with the fire element of 9, and you add that Mars energy, it's going to be a lot of action for you this year. So
Mm-hmm.
a life path 2, they're all about peace and love and keeping the cool. When I think of the number 2, you think of 2 people, and 2 people, two's company. What they say, two's company, three's a crowd, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
2 is all about consideration and being cooperative, but the 2 is very shy. They're very emotional, and sometimes they're a little dependent upon other people. So when you have the fiery energy of Mars dealing with the 2, it's gonna it's gonna make a 2 like, you know what? They ain't taking it no more. They've been kind, they've been shy. That Mars energy is gonna have that 2 bucking back at people this year. So if you someone's normally like a real peaceful person, real shy, one thing might just set them off this year. They don't have time to play. So when it comes to the 3, 3 is all about the communication. They're fun. They're life of the party. So threes that
Mm-hmm.
come to a room, they're like, hey, how you doing? They're like, hey, that's the 3. They're the fun people. But they're kind of childish a little bit, and they can be a little extreme sometimes. And 3
Mm-hmm.
is the number of communication. So a 3 in this year is going to be all about learning new things. They're going to not going to go out so much to teach, but try to learn as much as they can. Because
Okay.
at the end of the 9 year, the next year is going to be a 1, and 1's all about action. So all this stuff that they're learning this year, they're going to start implementing next year. So it's a seeding stage for the 3 this year. It's a seeding stage. Now for the 4, my daughter's a 4. So every year I do my number. I'm a 5. My daughter's a 4. My wife's a 7. I do those 3 numbers every year. So I've already
Mm-hmm.
done my daughter's numbers. But again, she's a 4. She's an out of the box thinker, hardworking. Very informational. She's like really big in organization. She don't like to make a move unless she knows every step. So for
Mm-hmm.
the 4, it's going to be a little challenging because it's going to be a lot of disorder. There's going to be a lot of action this year. They may have a change of a job this year because
Mm,
things are so smooth because they're a structured person. And it's not going to be chaotic, but like I said, that Mars energy is kind of tough, and things may be more sporadic than they're accustomed to, and it's going to make them be more like not angry, but very sensitive. So one
okay.
thing I just set that for off. So I was just with my daughter the other day, and I'm aware of this in her, so I'm real tactful about how I speak to her and things like that. And that's the beauty about numerology. You can not
Yes.
set people up, but you know how to talk to people. You know how to converse with people. Because if they're a one, I need to come with the one with a strong energy. But if they're a six, they're laid back and sweet and shy and really loving. I got to come with them with a softer voice, more
Hmm.
intuitive energy. But again, we're on five, I believe, right? I'm a light path five, and
Yeah.
five
I'm
is
a 5.
five.
We
Yeah, I
5.
agree. So,
Mm-hmm.
so five
We
is the.
5 damn wood rabbits in Chinese astrology.
This is true. This is true. We're wood rabbit. We're wood hares.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the beauty about the five is we're the middleman of the numerology. So we're right in the middle because there's only nine numbers. So you got four, you got five, and then you got four more. That's nine. So five, we're used to having the balance. So five is all about action. We're all about moving. We're all about doing all these different things. We're all about freedom and freedom and versatility, and quick
Mhm.
wit. We're ran by the energy of Mercury, and all that Mercury energy is the fastest planet in our solar system. So we're fast talkers. We like to multitask and things like that. So for us, it's going to not be a challenging year. It's going to be an exciting year for us. It's going to be
Mhm.
the year that we're going to really pop off financially this year. It may be a little chaotic to someone who isn't a five, but we live in chaos. Our life has been chaotic.
That's true.
So if you put a two or a six in this year, they're going to be like, "Whoa, this is crazy! I can't handle it." But we thrive in chaos. We don't need to know what's going on. Like most fives, we jump off that cliff. We don't even have any wings. We grow
Mm,
all the way down. You know what I'm saying? So that
yes.
so this year's going to be big bucks for us. So just keep that in mind if you're a five. This year for you to make money. So that's the reason why I started my insurance business. I was like, you know what? I've been working my whole life since I was 14 years old. Way before that for real, but yeah, since I was 14 years old. And I was like, I want to do something different. So I looked up what companies make the most money. And I found that insurance agents make more money than anybody, but they keep it a secret. It was ran by other races before black and brown got in. But anyway,
Mm,
so that's why I
mm,
started an insurance company because I knew what could I make money. I was already day trading, crypto investing, and did well in that. But I wanted to
mm.
make sure I never lost a dime. So now I put my money in vehicles that's going to outpace inflation, like IULs and whole life policies. But back to numerology, the six, the six is all about being service oriented, very sensual, artistic, creative. A six woman or man can't walk past a mirror without checking themselves out. You go to their house, it's smelling good. They always looking good, feeling good. Their hair
Mhm.
has to be immaculate. They're pretty, even if they don't look visually stimulating, they think they are. You know what I mean? That's all good because they're ran by Venus. So for them,
Okay.
it's going to be a little challenging because six is all about keeping the peace. They like everything to be comfortable. But that nine energy isn't about comfort. It's about fire. It's about
Ooh.
so for
Mm,
someone like six who's used to being in their comfort zone, they're going to be forced to go beyond the boundaries of what they think is possible for themselves. So it's going to be a little challenging for them to put on a big boy. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Now sevens, my wife's a seven. No matter what's going on, they're going to always do their own things.
mm,
Seven, the most spiritual number of all the numbers. Very
mm,
intuitive, very independent, very spiritual, daydreaming. They're always in their own world. So for a seven, this year is going to be a little challenging for them as well. Not in a bad way.
right.
Challenges help us evolve. So when I
Mhm.
say I don't say a bad year, I say a challenging year because it's going to force you to take action. So
Yeah.
seven is like the similar to a two and a six, how they want like structure. They don't like making moves without knowing one, two, three, four. They don't have time to do that this year. So
Mm,
since they don't have that comfort zone, they may be a little standoffish this year, a little bit too dreamy, stuck in their heads a little bit, trying to really manifest what they want. But they're going to always going to have that energy, that Mars and that nine on their back, telling the time is now. Let's go. Let's do it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a little challenging year for them as well. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for eight, eight is all about money. Eight
Yeah.
is the entrepreneurs. They're the ones, the management people, very powerful, authoritative, and it's all about finances. You pair that with the 9 year, they're gonna take off this year. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one thing about the eight this year, they got to be really mindful not to be too power hungry and greedy. So
Mm,
they really got to keep their wits about themselves and not just being too overbearing with the finances. You know,
yeah. Yeah.
So so a nine, it's a nine in a 9 year. So whenever you have two numbers that are the same, it just intensifies that energy. So if you're
Mm,
nine this year, I don't know what you were doing the previous year, but this year you're gonna be thinking like I gotta finish this because I gotta get ready for that new chapter of my life next year. And
yeah.
it's a subconscious energy. You don't even know what's happening. But if you really think about your energy and how you're dealing with your finances, how you're dealing with your life right now, you'll see that the nine is coming out. They may be a little aggressive, in some cases a little violent. Not violent as to hurt people, but like, I'm doing this right now. I don't care about you. I love you.
Right.
You ain't trying to run with me. I'm out. So
Right.
so, but if you're a numerologist, you can see those traits, the numerical traits in people, and you can just be indifferent to how they're feeling at the moment and kind of see the trajectory of where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
was a lot. That was a lot, wasn't it?
That, that was a lot, but you breezed right on through it. You
Yeah.
breezed right through it. So, Chris, what about the So do you incorporate the master numbers like left life path 11s or 22s,
Yeah.
33s, or do you just go ahead and
Be,
add them together?
before you adopt the energy of the master number, you have to master your number first. And a lot of people don't even know about numerology. They don't even master their own number. So the
Mm,
master numbers are like your divine self. Like if someone's an 11, a master number 11, they have to
mm,
master being a 2 first before we even talk about the 11. And
mm,
it was confused them because when I was doing numerology readings, I was like, yeah, you're 11, you're 33, you're 22. And they was like,
mm,
I don't feel like that. And I was
mm.
given a, a false representation of where they were. So until you
Oh,
master yourself, you can then adopt the qualities of the master number. So
okay. Okay, so if I'm a 22, I need to master that four
you
first.
can master that four first.
Mm,
Or-
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. See, I didn't know. See, this
Yeah.
my
So I
brother. He,
always say, let's focus on who you are right now, master
hmm
that, and then we can talk about those master numbers.
hmm hmm Oh, wow. I love it. I always learn something new. Every time we talk, every time I see you, every time you're on my show, I always learn something new. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's awesome. Wow. Well, you know what? You knocked that out so fast. You went through all those numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you have your pens and paper out. You're actually taking notes because numerology is it's a beautiful tool, to
Mhm.
add to your collection of tools. And hopefully you have some because you need to have some tools.
You
Go ahead,
definitely
Chris.
need numerology because it's a cheat code to our reality. Because
Mm-hmm.
especially for young parents, because if you're one and you have a baby and they're a 2 or 6, you can't just think that you can talk to them the way you need to be spoken to. You have to be a little softer with a 2 and a 6. You might be big jock number one, yeah, rah, 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 but your
Mm-hmm.
son's a two. And your son loves you, but he's a two. He may not have that same rah, rah, rah energy. So you got to respect what he came here to do. A lot of people want to live vicariously through their children, but your children came here to be who they are. But if you had
Yes.
a numerology reading or if you're a numerologist, you have someone do their numbers, you know how to converse with your child because a two need to be talked to. A two
Mm-hmm.
need to have, you need to speak to a two's soul. But if you got a one, you got to listen, boy. This is what we doing today. Right? Yeah, let's go. One, you with it? I'm with it, Dad. Let's go. that will work with it too. That'll scare it too.
Mhm.
That'll scare
Right.
it.
And the two, he might not want to play football. He might want to play the piano,
Wanna
right? He might want to play drums.
right, right. Luckily,
Yeah.
I'm 5. I do it all. I did it
Right.
all.
All of
We could
it.
do whatever. We right in the middle, so we could do whatever.
Right.
But not everyone's like a 5. If you
Mm-hmm.
most 5s, we come from humble beginnings. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what you come, no matter where you start, you chose that path, and your life
Mm-hmm.
is going to follow you your whole life, not just portion of your life, your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes, I love being a 5. It's what is it? The changing changes, always changing, and being able to go with that flow, go with that change. And sometimes the change is sudden. You're like, what?
If you're a 5 and you're not on the move, you're not traveling, you're not trying different things, you're not caring about what step one, two, you're always making step one over and over and over. You look back and be like, man, I done made 15 steps. Winning. That's a 5. We have to
Mhm.
talk. We have to do things. We have to we have to reinvent ourselves because we
Yes.
get bored easily. And if we get bored, we start getting depressed. If we feel as if we're confined, we can't move, we get depressed. And
Hmm.
and how we feel is a reflection of our outward reality. So with the 5 and all the numbers, how you feel inside matters the most. Because if you're not happy inside, nothing around you is going to be good. Everything
Hmm.
around you reflects a reflection of the energy that you're giving off. And the
Yes.
cymatic tones that we give off is a reflection of what's within us. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Wow. Well, has been an amazing episode as usual. When I have
I feel as if we just started.
man, look, we almost 40 minutes in.
Oh,
Right. And I can't wait to actually watch the replay of this because, like I said, I've been taking notes, mental notes. I'm gonna have to come back and watch this again because you dropped some serious knowledge
mm,
that I was not aware of. Yeah.
well,
Yes. Yes. So I appreciate you. And I'm always full of gratitude, Chris. So let us know. And look, everybody, look, this is a product of Cincinnati, Ohio. Like he and I both born and raised in
born,
Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's winning. This is
yeah.
an example for you that you can do it no matter where you're from, even when you're from Cincinnati. You know what I mean? So and we winning. We winning out here. We
Cincinnati's
winning.
a, Cincinnati's a powerful place. We have a lot of mounds here.
I
And the next time
know.
you come in, we got to go to the Miamisburg Mound. The next time you come in the
Yes.
city, it's our pyramid where I put all my intentions. The winter solstice, the summer solstice. I go up to the
Hmm.
top of this mound and I put my intentions off of there. Across the street from the mound is an energy resource energy where they measure the energy coming off this thing.
Oh
You know,
wow.
we,
Wow.
we also have the serpent mound here. We have a
Hmm.
mound on Red and Roll right past that White Castle um, past, well, I can't remember the name of it, but around Red and there's mountains all over the place here. So
And that's crazy because see, I didn't know nothing before I moved to Atlanta. I didn't
mm,
know. Well, I wasn't on, didn't know anything about the spiritual path yet. Always on it, right? But
mhm,
not knowing I'm on it, right?
yeah,
So I had no idea about these mounds and how there is some beauty in home,
mhm.
that I didn't get a chance to take part in or really appreciate.
So speaking on the spiritual path, I know we're running out of time, but 9 years ago was when I got off the spiritual fence. Because whenever you're on a spiritual path, you're a little reluctant to really express who you are spiritually because of all the ingrained environmental source code and programming that you have to be with this religion, you have to be with this. So I was
Hmm.
afraid, not afraid, but I just was a little leery to come out to the world about who I really am spiritually. But
Hmm.
the last 2016 is when I came out. I started my YouTube page. I started writing books because it was time for me to make a change. So
Yes.
9 years later, I'm no longer Chris Enlightened. I'm Christopher Huffman now. I'm making that
Yes.
new change. So every 9 years, you're going to make a change. You're going to make a change every 9 years. So just be mindful of that. It's 9 years now. Think back to 2016, what you were doing. Go on your Facebook page, look at your timeline, see what you were writing back then. See what was on your mind.
Yes.
You were changing.
Hmm. Mhm.
Well, it's time to change again. It's time to. The time is now. The time
The
is now.
time. Yes, it's cycles, boy. These cycles, 9 year cycle, got 9 year cycles, 7 year cycles.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, you don't, and it's crazy because when you're on certain cycles, if you don't, like I said, if you don't know, if you're not into numerology, you don't really know. You just kind of in the middle of it, you know. I didn't realize I was actually in a 7 year cycle to to the end of the cycle.
Hmm.
And I'm
But you're
like, man, yes. And I was on that wall of suffering during
oh, the
that time.
human
Got
wall
the
of
whole
suffering. The
stuff.
human wall of suffering.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness
The,
gracious.
the 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 thing about the human wall of suffering is you willingly put yourself on there, and you have to willingly take yourself off of that human wall of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best things you can do is stop trying to give light to people with minds of the night. And once you realize that some people are nothing more than low vibratory algorithms sitting here to make sure you don't succeed, you
Mm-hmm.
get yourself off of there real easy because you're not living for anyone else anymore. You're living for
Yes.
yourself.
And it's tricky because it can be something so subtle
Mm,
where you don't recognize it at first. You know,
yeah.
it's kind of like, well, that don't feel right, but that ain't that I've been through this before, like, but it don't feel like that, but it
Mm,
feels kind of close to it. And it's
yeah.
something, it could be something so small and it's tricky. It's just enough to keep you um from getting, from getting to your destiny. It's just enough. Just it's
Mm.
tricky. Tricky.
So that's why it's
Wow.
so important to raise your identity because if you're always constantly raising your identity, you're always cutting people off that isn't trying to run with you. You're always attracting new people higher than you. Because in
Yes.
my her best-selling book, Wealth Consciousness, I talk about how your financial prowess or your financial success is a percentage of your five closest friends. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
better than all your friends, you're the best of the losers.
Mm.
Always
Mm.
raise your identity. You raise your identity by the books you read and the company you keep.
Yes.
Best way to raise your identity. So if you're stuck right now, and I've been there, you feel as if you're hopeless, you don't know what to do, start reading more books and start mimicking what other winners are doing on a small level until you can do what they're doing on the big level. Don't try to recreate the wheel. It'll just make
Mm-hmm.
you more depressed. Do what
Mm-hmm.
someone else is doing on a big level. Join a team of people who are already winning,
Mm-hmm.
and your life will change.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's 100% correct. And like you said, when you're going up, people are gonna fall off, or you're gonna have to let some people go. And you want them to go with you so bad, and
Mm.
they can't. They just can't. And
You know,
and just be okay with that. Mm-hmm.
I had to realize that my desire to see good in people was becoming my undoing. My
Mm-hmm.
desire to see people win like me was becoming my undoing because I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I come here to win, but there's
Yeah.
always a harmonious balance in our reality. The same way I come here to win, some people come here to lose. And when
Mm,
they come here to lose, you got to respect them on their journey.
yes.
They may have
Yeah.
been winning for all these incarnations, and this time they want to come here to be a loser. And you just
Mm,
love them from afar. And it's okay as a part of their journey. You can have
mm,
the totality of reality until you experience all facets of life. You have to
mm,
be a loser in life, a cheat, a liar, a
mm,
murderer. You know, you have to
mm,
be all that stuff in life. And it's just
mm.
your journey. But you don't have to be around people like that if you're choosing the light in this life.
Right. So, Christopher Huffman,
Mm.
please let us know where we can reach you, where you can be found, all that good stuff.
You know, I'm old school. I'm going to give up my number on this show. My direct number is 513-908. 8976. And what I'll do is share with Sharifa my Calendly link. So if you want to book an appointment with me and talk about your tax free retirement, or you want to have me run some illustrations for you for your life insurance policies, I can do that as well. It won't cost you anything to talk to me to see what your options are. So it's I have a fiduciary responsibility to put you into a policy that fits your insurable needs. And that's what I'm here for.
Okay. All right, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you might want to contact Christopher Huffman. This is a good year. This is a good year for that money. So you might want to get on board now. get on board now so you can get your money right and get your life right, right? It's a
That's right.
beautiful year. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the first episode of Snails with No Shells for the year 2025. Thank you again, Christopher, for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Always, always.
Always a
And
pleasure. Mm.
yes, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. MS BJ Martin, that's Ms. BJ Martin, MS BJ Martin, that's my YouTube channel. And like, share, and subscribe the videos. Chris, you have a YouTube channel as well that you like to
Yeah,
share?
I do have a YouTube channel. It's called The Enlightened Journey. That's Thee Enlightened Journey. Also, I have 8 books: The Enlightened Talk, Poverty Consciousness, Wealth Consciousness, Dissolving Your Limitations, Conscious Equals Choice, Seeds of Time Volume 1, Seeds of Time Volume 2, and my latest book, Divination. They're all out on Amazon. My best-selling books are on Barnes and Noble. And again, if you need an insurance policy or anything like that, you want to see what your options are, give me a call.
8 books, ladies and gentlemen, Cincinnati, Ohio. Anything's possible, right?
Mm.
Anything's possible. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna end this episode. Thank you for spending time with me, with Sharifa, and spending time with Christopher. I just want to tell you that I love you, and remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all. While you're at it, like, comment, share, and subscribe.